Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping straight into the heart of Xianxia. Think high-stakes action, spiritual power, and some really big moral questions.
Exactly. We're looking at Renegade Immortal, or Xian Ni, and specifically the fan reaction and, well, the critical buzz around episode 108. Build Dream Animation Studio released this one on September 30th, 2025.
Right. And it seems like this episode really hit a nerve. So our plan today is to kind of unpack all that. We'll dig into the reviews, figure out why Wang Lin's actions caused such a stir.
And also talk about the adaptation itself. Some choices the studio made seem pretty controversial compared to the original novel.
Okay, let's set the scene first. We're dropped right into the action, yeah. In the demonic North Realm, the Demo Bijie. Spooky place.
Very eerie. And the whole conflict, it boils down to this treasure. The Yahuang fruit tree. It's this metallic spiritual thing, incredibly valuable.
The kind of thing cultivators would, well, kill for. Literally climb over bodies to get even a tiny piece of its power.
Absolutely. Which brings us to Qianqin. She's introduced here, and wow, she made an impact. But she starts off in a really bad spot.
She's talented, right. A core formation stage cultivator from the Random Gate sect, so not a nobody.
Not at all. But talent only gets you so far. She's completely overpowered here.
Okay, maybe we should clarify the power levels for people less familiar. Core formation. That's significant, but where does it sit compared to who she's up against?
Right. So Qianqin is core formation. Think mid-level mastery, but the ones who have her trapped. 2 elders from the Daloa sword sect, and they are infant transformation stage.
Infant transformation. Okay, that sounds much more powerful. How big is that gap, really?
It's huge. Like 2 entire major realms of cultivation power above her. It's not even a fair fight. She has almost 0 chance against them on her own.
So she's basically their prisoner, and her design, the sources mention her visual design, really emphasizes this.
Oh, definitely. The animators did great work here. She has this white, elegant dress. White, often symbolizing purity, right? But it's asymmetrical.
Right.
One shoulder bare, the other covered. It's striking.
Why the asymmetry, though? Does it mean something specific?
It makes her memorable, visually distinct, and it contrasts sharply with the spiritual ropes binding her. You see this elegant, almost fragile aesthetic, but she's caught in this brutal situation. Instant visual storytelling.
Okay, got it. And the elders, their motive is just pure greed.
Pure, simple greed for the Yahuang fruit. They forced her to lead them there, and the second she's shown them the location...
She's disposable, because she knows the secret.
Exactly. Her life expectancy is basically 0 once that fruit tree is found. Classic Xianxia setup.
Yeah, it really screams ruthless competition. Treasures mean betrayal, power means survival, and loyalty is flexible.
Which is precisely why Wang Lin stepping in feels so significant.
Right. So Wang Lin arrives, he sees what's happening, Qianqin bound, the elders clearly exploiting her, and he decides to intervene.
And this action sequence is apparently a highlight, widely praised in the reviews we looked at. Wang Lin takes on both infant transformation elders.
Even though they're technically higher cultivation stages than him at this point.
Yes, which showcases his incredible combat prowess and growth. The animation quality is key here. Lots of comments about fluid movement, glowing sword attacks.
Cutting through that misty, desolate air of the demonic North Realm sounds visually impressive.
It really is. The fight is decisive. Wang Lin wins, asserts his dominance. The elders are, well, likely dealt with permanently.
Standard Wang Lin efficiency. But, okay, the fight ends, the immediate threat is gone. What happens next is the crucial part, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is the moment everyone's talking about. Qianqin just saw Wang Lin ruthlessly dispatch 2 powerful cultivators. She's bracing herself.
She expects him to kill her, too. To tie up the loose end, keep the Yahuang fruit tree's location secret.
That's the logical Xianxia move, right? Eliminate the witness. That's the law of this world she understands. She expects pure ruthlessness.
He doesn't do that.
He doesn't. He does something completely unexpected. He seems to recognize her situation. She's a victim here, caught between powerful forces, not really a threat to him.
So instead of killing her, he gives her something.
Yeah, a gift. A single root hair from the Golden Spirit root, basically a tiny but still valuable fragment of the Yahuang fruit tree's essence.
Wow, okay. That is surprising, given the context.
And the animation apparently captures this moment beautifully. You see Qianqin's expression shift from terror, expecting death, to just wide-eyed disbelief and gratitude.
Contrasted with Wang Lin, who's probably just standing there calmly.
Exactly. His usual stoic demeanor. It's a powerful character moment.
Now, for someone who hasn't read the novel, does this feel out of character for Wang Lin? Is he known for this kind of compassion, or is he usually more ruthless?
That's the interesting part. Wang Lin is known for being ruthless, extremely so when it comes to his enemies or survival. But his ruthlessness isn't usually driven by simple greed, like the elders. It's often about revenge, self-preservation, or his own path.
So this isn't random kindness. It fits within his complex morality.
I think so. It shows he can differentiate.
Yeah.
The elders were aggressors, driven by greed. Qianqin was a pawn, a victim. His action is calculated, sure, but it's rooted in a kind of empathy, or at least a recognition of her situation.
But the episode doesn't just end on a happy note for her, right? There's still a cost.
Right. As Qianqin leaves the demonic North Realm, she's not just relieved, she's alone, and apparently burdened by guilt over her sect members who died earlier. These were companions killed in skirmishes related to this whole treasure hunt.
Ah, so her survival comes with the weight of other sacrifices. That adds another layer.
Definitely. Her solitude at the end is palpable. It's not a clean escape.
Okay, let's dig into the themes here. Wang Lin's act of compassion. How does it connect to the bigger ideas in Xianxia, maybe even Taoist philosophy that often underlies these stories? What's the deeper meaning?
Well, you often see Taoist ideas of balance in cultivation narratives. The elders represented pure yin, perhaps darkness, greed, destruction. Wang Lin, by showing calculated compassion, demonstrates a kind of balance.
Balancing the yin of necessary ruthlessness with the yang of insight, empathy.
Something like that. True power in this philosophy isn't just raw strength or cruelty. It's about integrating these opposing forces. His ruthlessness is a tool, but his capacity for this kind of action shows a deeper understanding, a more refined spiritual state than the elders could ever achieve.
So giving her the root hair isn't a sign of weakness that could bite him later. It's actually part of his own cultivation.
You could definitely argue that. It shows he's not consumed by the same base desires as many others on the cultivation path. He maintains control, maintains his own complex moral code.
And there's symbolism too, right? The tree itself being metallic.
Yes, the Yaohong fruit tree is metallic. In the five elements philosophy, metal often relates to things like structure, sharpness, precision.
Yeah.
You could even say ruthlessness in a way, like Wang Lin's methodical approach. So for him to achieve true balance, maybe he needs to integrate that metal aspect with something softer, more yielding, like water or earth, which could represent compassion or empathy. His act towards Qianqin visually represents that internal integration.
That's a really interesting way to look at it. It adds a lot of depth to what could seem like just a surprising moment.
For sure. It ties his actions back to the fundamental principles of the world.
All right, let's shift gears slightly and talk about the production itself. Build Dream Animation Studio. Visually, it sounds like they knocked it out of the park with this episode.
Oh, universally praised on that front?
Yeah.
The atmosphere of the demonic North Realm, those misty purples and grays, sounds incredibly effective, really sets a haunting mood.
And the tree itself, the Yaohong fruit tree.
Apparently stunning. Glowing, golden, intricate metallic details, a real visual anchor for the episode.
And the action scenes, we mentioned those earlier, top-tier stuff.
Yeah, comparisons were being made to big names like Perfect World or Soul Land. Dynamic camera work, slick effects for the sword fights. They clearly know how to deliver spectacle.
Okay, so visually, a triumph, but there's always a but, isn't there? The adaptation choices, this is where the fan community seems divided.
This is the main point of contention, yeah.
Yeah.
Build Dream streamlined the plot from the novel quite a bit. And while that might make it easier for newcomers to follow,
the dedicated novel readers felt like something important was lost.
Exactly. They sacrificed complexity for accessibility, and that rubbed some fans the wrong way.
What were the specific cuts that caused the most discussion?
Two major omissions stood out in the reviews. First, the betrayal by Gui Xingji. In the novel, he was Qianqin's supposed ally, but he's the one who actually tipped off the Dailuo sword sect elders.
Oh, so cutting that removes a layer of personal betrayal for Qianqin, makes her situation slightly less tragic, maybe.
Precisely. It simplifies her backstory and reduces the weight of her predicament. The second cut, and this one affects Wang Lin more directly.
Yeah. What was that?
They cut an entire subplot involving Guo Xingji being possessed by another character, Elder Shifang. And crucially, Wang Lin negotiates with his possessed Guo Xingji.
Negotiates? About what?
About a rapid possession technique. In the novel, this negotiation is a key moment, showing Wang Lin's pragmatic, calculating side. He's leveraging this dangerous situation to gain knowledge, a cultivation advantage. It shows his strategic ruthlessness.
Okay, I see. So cutting that negotiation scene, how does that impact the perception of his later compassion towards Quenkin?
It makes the compassion feel a bit less grounded, maybe more random. In the novel, you see him being incredibly calculating and pragmatic, first even borderline ruthless in that negotiation.
Right.
So when he then shows compassion to Kinky, it hits harder. It proves his ruthlessness is controlled. It's a choice, not his default state for everyone, without seeing that prior calculation.
The compassion might just seem like uncharacteristic softness, or maybe just plot convenience.
Exactly. It potentially flattens his character, making him seem less strategically complex and more just, inconsistently merciful. It removes that crucial balance we were just talking about.
That makes a lot of sense. You lose the setup that makes the payoff more meaningful. So what was the overall fan verdict on this trade-off? Accessibility versus depth?
Pretty split from what we saw. Everyone seemed to love Kiankin's design.
Yeah.
Lots of stunning comments about her, even outshining Li Muwan, who's a major female lead. Huge praise there.
But the plot changes.
But the novel readers were quite vocal. Criticisms like the simplified plot ruins Kiankin's backstory, or that it sacrifices the political intrigue and the careful character work the novel is known for.
So the age-old adaptation dilemma. Make it broader, easier to digest for a mass audience, potentially attract new fans.
But risk alienating the hardcore base who loved the original for its nuance and complexity.
Seems like Bill Dream leaned towards broadening the appeal here, which, makes business sense for a potentially massive Donghua series.
It does. But it definitely raises questions, valid ones, about how they'll handle even more complex arcs later in the story if they continue to streamline this heavily.
Yeah, future adaptations are now under a microscope, I bet.
For sure. Still, even with those criticisms, the consensus seems to be that episode 108 worked on many levels. Visually spectacular, emotionally resonant.
And really defined by that core moment of Wang Lin's nuanced morality. That blend of ruthlessness and unexpected compassion.
Absolutely. It gave people a lot to talk about. And looking forward, the speculation is already starting.
What's the buzz for episode 109?
Most expected to shift focus back squarely onto Wang Lin. His solitary journey, probably using the essence he got from the Yaowang fruit for a major cultivation breakthrough.
Makes sense. Consolidate his gains.
Yeah.
And Qianqian, her story feels incomplete.
Very much so. Because Wang Lin let her live, and even helped her slightly, there's a strong fan hope, maybe expectation, that she'll reappear later.
Maybe seeking redemption, or perhaps using that gift to grow stronger, honor her fallen friends.
Could be. Her departure felt poignant, but also pregnant with possibility. Her story isn't over.
Which brings us back to that central question the episode leaves us with, really.
Yeah. In this brutal world of cultivation, where power is everything and betrayal is common, Wang Lin's act of compassion, was that a mistake? A moral weakness that might hinder his path to the peak?
Or is that very capacity for calculated mercy, that balance, actually the key? Is it a deeper form of spiritual refinement that ultimately sets him apart, making him capable of reaching heights others, blinded by pure greed, never could?
That's a great question. Is compassion a liability, or is it the ultimate strength in disguise?
Something for all of you to think about as you maybe rewatch the episode. That's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
We'll catch you next time.